Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Refugee to Industrial Regent, Season 2. I'm back in Petrola just 3 episodes after building this tree farm, because I've run into 2 problems with this design for the farm. The first, unfortunately, is a bit less tractable at this point. It's just a matter of how much stuff this farm actually produces. I mean, I've got the birch and oak wood barrels are full. Basically, the whole system is clogged up. The entire system is clogged up completely. I even put a redstone furnace here off camera in an effort to escalate the charcoal production to keep this running, and it worked. But now the entire system's stuffed up. But there is a second problem, and it has to do with these energy conduits. You see, these leadstone energy conduits can only handle 80 RF per tick, which would be fine if one of these steam dynamos didn't generate at max efficiency 80 RF per tick. Unfortunately, that does mean I have to do something about it. Fortunately, I do have a solution. It's going to be a bit of a trick to get it sorted out because of all the pipes in the way. So let me go ahead and get that pipe back into position. And I brought with me some Invar and some redstone. Let me actually go ahead and grab this first pipe out here and the energy cell. Now, with the pipes, what I can do is take 3 leadstone energy conduits, 3 redstone, and 1 Invar ingot, and that gives me 3 of these hardened energy conduits. Now, they have a max transfer rate of 400 RF per tick. The other thing I'd like to do is take this leadstone energy cell and upgrade it as well to the hardened energy cell. Please tell me. Wait a minute. And I'll go ahead and check something on that. Let's see. Configuration. Alright. Yeah. Okay, so this can go up to 400, but because I used an existing leadstone energy cell, which is limited to 80, okay, that's why it was only saying 80. It is maxing out at 400, which is valid. It also has a maximum capacity of 2 million RF versus the 400,000 it had before. Alright. Now, let me go ahead and put the lines back up. And now, the steam dynamos will turn back on because they now have a place to send power. And it's also building up its output, and it's now outputting at the maximum 80 RF per tick. And this is now building up at 160 RF per tick. But I won't install this hardened energy conduit just yet. I've actually got a bit more to do as far as this goes. Because I also want to get the output sorted out, because 80 RF per tick isn't quite enough to keep all of these machines running. Fortunately, that's not too hard to fix. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. 25, 26, 27, 28. And I'm going to have to dig down a little bit to get that back out. Let me put a door there. Because why not? Now, there we go. That's more like it. A little bit tricky to navigate around here. That doesn't. The leaves don't necessarily help. 29, 30, 31. me think. I think I've got room for, what, 2 more? So there we go, that's 32, and I need 1 more. And since it's the rubberwood farm that I can still store stuff from, I'm going to pull it out of here, I think. 33. Okay. So not a worst case scenario for me. There we go. Alright. There we go. Alright, now a little bit of a quick process will allow me to turn these 33 into, let me get the redstone position right. So there we go, the hardened energy conduit. I'm actually going to work back. Well, I'm actually going to start out here, I think. Oh. Uh-oh. I have a problem. They don't connect. I can't connect a hardened energy conduit to a leadstone energy conduit. I do have a solution to that issue. But I'll have to take care of it off camera. Well, I do have a second project in mind for this episode at any rate, so yeah, it's going to be a little bit of work to get that sorted out. I'll have to make a couple more leadstone energy cells off camera. But in the meantime, like I said, I've got a second project for this episode, so I shall return. Alright, as I promised off camera, I went ahead and made a trio of leadstone energy cells for the project in Petrola, but I'll get back to Petrola later this episode. I do have a project here in Odessos, and I'd like to get that taken care of while I'm here. Because, well, reeds take some time to grow. They're not the fastest growing oh crap. I couldn't tell you what they're called. Plants in the world. Okay. Hold on a minute. That's not gonna help me at all, is it? Actually, let me begin. What I'm trying to make is something called a terrain smasher. Let me put the recipe for that up on the screen. It requires an Invar pickaxe. Wait, it has to be Invar? I brought way too much iron and nowhere near enough Invar. And I have no fuel left. Okay, I may have blundered a fair bit. At least I can make the pistons. And unfortunately, I can't use any of that extra iron. There we go. At least there's the 24 pistons. I should have looked closely at that. It looked like iron to me, but that's not iron. That's Invar, and I completely missed it. Well, and the worst part is my smeltery is pretty much out of fuel at this point. And I don't have a lot of easily accessible lava, so yeah, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go off camera, get some lava, refuel my smeltery, get some more Invar, and then I will return. I do apologize for that. Alright, I am back with the correct material for the pickaxe this time. Let's go ahead and turn it into ingots. There we go. Now I can craft the Invar pickaxes that I'll actually need. And now for the tedious part, because Invar pickaxes don't stack. 5, 8, 12, halfway done. Only halfway done, unfortunately. That's about 2/3. 16. 20. 21. 22. 23. And 24. And yes, I did put everything I did not, almost everything I didn't need for that up in this backpack here, so that I didn't have to worry about it. But now that I've got my autonomous activators, I can actually go ahead and make my way over to where my next project's going to be. Or not autonomous activators, terrain smashers. Why do I keep calling that the autonomous activator? Autonomous activator is a completely different block that has a completely different purpose. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and harvest this reed farm manually. I'm hoping this will be the last time I have to manually harvest this reed farm. I do have a chunk loader. I might need a second chunk loader to keep this up and running, just because of how long it takes for the sugarcane to grow. But I'm going to make my way along the coastal section of South Odessos, along the inner road, and to this pair of trenches over here, which is the project site. So what I'm going to do here is fill these channels with water. There we go. Et voila. So now the channels are filled with water. So the next step is to put down the... I just realized I have a problem with this setup. Thankfully, it's not too hard. Well, it shouldn't be too hard to fix, but unfortunately, it is going to require a little bit of work. Thankfully, I brought my mattock with me, which is good because I now have to get rid of all of that. I'm going to place a single water bucket there. That's going to put the water along that channel. And then I could put that like so. Yeah, that's more like it. Alright. Now I can go ahead and place these terrain smashers. 6 of them. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and lay the rest of the piping like so. Unfortunately, that means those torches are also out of place. Actually, they're completely out of place. Let me think here. So, let me think. The reeds go there. The terrain smashers go there. The only mining tool that I have is the hammer. Wait a minute. I wanted the crescent hammer. Fair enough. Alright. There we go. There's those terrain smashers. Now, let me think here. So this is where item ducts are going to go. Six more terrain smashers there. That means that the water goes here. And I have a bit of a problem. Well, maybe not that big a problem. Let's go ahead and get rid of that for the moment. And while I'm at it, let's go sort that out. It looks like I'm going to be intruding slightly on the river around here. There's really not a lot I can do about that. Let's see. The last of the terrain smashers will go like so. Yeah, then I can connect the piping up like so. Yeah, and then like that. I'm almost good to go. Heck, I might just leave that water there. It's not really hurting anything, is it? I'd say it's not, no. But at any rate, how about we get some more water up there? There we go. Okay. Lay down some torches. Like so. Now I can go ahead and lay down the rest of the sugar canes. Well, we know the train smashers work. Let me go ahead and fill the buckets up. Whoops, might have been a little bit quick. And finally, to complete this, the barrel, and if I did this right, here's hoping. Unless, and this is a possibility, in fact, this might be what I have to do. Does it have to go into the top? Ah, okay. There we go. Go ahead and lock that on to sugar canes. And now in order to complete this, it looks like I'm going to have to set all of these up to extract the sugar cane into the pipe. Yeah. Alright. Then after a while, after a while, of course, it's going to give me a fair bit of sugar cane. I am going to want a dimensional anchor. I crafted a few dimensional anchors last season, but I'll go ahead and show you the recipe again. Just so that you're aware of it. It's a block of iron surrounded by 4 gold. I think I have the materials for that. That said, I'll go ahead and get that dimensional anchor sorted out off camera, and then I shall return to Petrola to complete the project I initially started at the beginning of this episode. Alright, well, I was going to go straight to Petrola to get it sorted out, but I do have an issue with my cooked chicken farm, and I need to get it taken care of as soon as possible, to be honest. And that is that, well, quite simply, this chest is completely clogged with feathers. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take as many feathers out of here as I can. Because this is going to be for anything that is not feathers. And this barrel's already going to be full, isn't it? I'm kind of wishing I had brought some sort of trash can, like so. If it wasn't for the distance to Byzantium, I'd go ahead and grab it. As it stands, yeah, let's see here. Alright, so here's the idea. Alright, I can safely remove pretty much all of the hoppers without concern. I mean, that hopper, of course, will have to stay. We're getting eggs still? Oh, wow. Okay, that's more than a bit disconcerting. We have eggs in there. Okay. Well, let me grab a feather and an egg. Put the feather up in there. Yeah, looks like another trip back to Byzantium. Because I'm going to want that trash can, and I'm probably going to want a pneumatic servo, I think those are called. Those things are called. Thankfully, I mean, it's not a super long run to Byzantium, but having moved the storehouse to the east side of Byzantium, rather than the west side of the Byzantium, where the gate is, it's a little bit of a trip. And no, I haven't really put in too much more work into upgrading the road network here in Byzantium. I'll take care of that, probably off camera, frankly. Yeah, I think I know what the title of this episode is going to be. Yeah. Because really, I was not prepared for any of this. I thought I was, and then I proved myself wrong. Alright. Now for the trash can, I want 5 cobblestone, 3 smooth stone, which is in this chest here, and a chest, which I'm not going to grab quite yet. Instead, I'm going to go ahead and grab myself a pair of glass, 1 piece of redstone. I do need to go mining for redstone, and I probably should also grab some iron ore as well. Alright, and I just realized, A, I need to grab a chest. I was in a bit of a... Why was I in so much of a rush to leave? And B, I should probably craft this stuff up. Alright, now you've seen this recipe before, the pneumatic servo. And then this recipe is new. It is for the trash can. It will basically discard, remove forever from the game, anything that goes into it. It doesn't seem like that's something that would be that useful, but given the automation I have and given the trouble I have with that automatic chicken farm, yeah. It's probably not a bad idea to have it. Just as a sort of overflow, if you will. Because it's not like I'm processing the chicken or the feathers into anything further at this point. And I can always change the system up if I need to. Alright, let's go ahead and get back to Odessos. Let's try to stay on the road and not get run off the road. And I could certainly stand to fix this gate up. But that's going to be an off-camera job. The design for that gate, of course, is going to be very similar to the Byzantium gate that I built in episode 4. Now, let's see here. Alright. Okay, let's see here. So first off, let's see what hoppers have stuff in them. This one is empty, so I can get rid of it. Frankly, I might as well go ahead and try to kill this chicken. Let me get my hammer out, because that seems to be the tool that will do it. I want to be careful not to hold it for too long. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now, let me think here. Might as well throw that in there. Why not? I can go ahead and get that chicken out of there because I won't be having use for it for too much longer. Okay. There we go. And now I can get rid of that redstone torch because I no longer have need of it. In fact, I could probably get rid of most of that redstone altogether. Yeah, like so. Yeah, okay, we are good on that front. I will need to fill that in a bit better, but I'm not in a position to do that at the moment. Let's see here. This hopper is empty, so I can go ahead and remove it. This hopper is empty, so it can go bye-bye. Hey, all these hoppers are empty. I can go ahead and grab the hopper out of there. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that, place the trash can there. Alright. I don't want to put anything in there quite yet, not directly anyway. Now, I am going to go ahead and, actually, let me get my item ducts first. Now, it will be interesting to see if the hopper actually empties into the item duct. Hopefully it won't be too much longer before we find out. And I can go ahead and put that like so. Although I have to admit I'll be filling it manually, I'm sure. Yep. There we go. It is now completely full. So I can go ahead and delete the rest of the feathers. I'm also going to go ahead and delete the eggs, because I'll get more than enough eggs out of that barrel. Alright, and then finally, take the, see, I'll put the raw chicken in there. Cooked chicken I can put in there, but let me grab a stack so I have something to eat. Now, go ahead and put the item ducts like so. I can go ahead and set that up like that. Now, what I'm going to do with it, I'm going to install the pneumatic servo, and then I am going to blacklist feathers, and I'm going to blacklist eggs. Alright? And that way, feathers and eggs will never go into this chest. It will be reserved for other purposes. Now, let's see. How long do I want to wait for the chickens to grow? I can certainly clean this up a little bit while I wait. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Like so. Yeah. Like that'll work. I'm pretty sure this will work. The hopper certainly looks to be... Oh, yes. We got it. Now, did it empty? Uh-oh. That is, not what I wanted. But I have a way around that. But let me get the Petrola project finished up first. And then I'll return to this. Alright, I am back in Petrola. You recall earlier this episode, I was trying to upgrade a significant chunk of this power network from leadstone energy conduits to hardened energy conduits, leaving the sections leading to the planters as leadstone, only to discover that leadstone energy conduits and hardened energy conduits do not connect to each other. Fortunately, both leadstone energy conduits and hardened energy conduits do connect to leadstone energy cells, which is good. Now let me double check to make sure that, do I want that yellow? No, I want it orange. I want it orange on the back. So let's go ahead and do that like so. Let's go ahead and get the hardened energy conduit out. Like so. Alright, that should work. Now let's see here. I have to follow suit over here. And then like so. Yeah, that'll work. And finally, over here, although that does give me an interesting thought. Now I'll leave that as hardened. I was thinking maybe go back to leadstone with that, but I will go hardened there. If I can get out of there. But that does mean I have to configure this to also output out the top. But that's fine. That will likely save me a conduit. And it will likely avoid a loop of conduits. Yeah, there we go. Now, with any luck, let's see, where are we in terms of power? Oh, that's full. That is full. Yeah, time to fix that by the looks of it. So these are running, okay, they're going to be going back up to full tilt, to full power. It looks like I may be using a little bit more than I'm generating. I'm not sure by how much. Okay. Alright, I cannot see what's clogging. It doesn't look like that's clogged anymore even, which is not the worst thing in the world. But I now have a somewhat more reliable system. I cannot speak for... Okay. Okay, so we do have... Well, we got a little space in one of the ovens, at least. Okay. I'm actually okay with this at this point. Now, like I said in the last segment, I do have one more thing I need to do to fix the cooked chicken farm in Odessos. I shall return. Alright, well, this is the final part of the episode. No derps, I can promise you that. I actually have figured out pretty much all of this. So I'm going to go and get rid of that item duct because it's no longer useful. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a bit. I'm going to go ahead and close that down a little bit. I'm going to put a chest here. And as you can see, the hopper is emptying into the chest. That is what I want for the moment. Now, part 2 is to install a servo on here. Now, I can apply actions on the different sides independently. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this side here from the chest, and I'm going to tell it to disable redstone. And what's going to happen is it's going to start pulling things out. Yeah, there we go. And now we're getting the system emptied. And the feathers did, as I expected, go into the trash can. That being the only place they could go. Now, I could use some forged microblocks to cover up the item ducts, but not at this time. I'll leave that open for the time being. I mean, if I do decide to cover them with microblocks, I can do that off camera. It's a simple task, really. But there is one more thing that I would like to do before I call it an episode, and that is to head over here through South Odessos, up and then down. Yeah, one of the things I'm going to be doing later this stage is building a subway network for Byzantium. I'm not averse to doing the same thing here in Odessos. And as you can see, we've already got a little bit of work going on here, but just to make sure that this stays loaded, I'm going to add this dimensional anchor, and I'm going to expand this, yeah, let's say a 5x5. I mean, it's going to completely cover this tree farm and then some. Heck, even a 3x3 would do it, and maybe a 1x1. No, 1x1 wouldn't have, because there's a chunk boundary right about here. So, a 3x3 would have been the minimum, but I'm going to go 5x5. 5x5 will load a decent chunk of this part of South Odessos. I do apologize for all the derpiness this episode. I was not nearly as prepared as I thought I was for this one. I will fix that for next episode. But that said, I have reached a good wrapping up point, so I will see you next time, everybody.